Welcome to my new calculus channel. Every once in a while I get a comment from a mainstream academic, and I really don't even know where to begin. It's so illogical. It displays the kind of rot, the kind of thinking we find in mainstream academia. It's even hard to know where to begin to addressing comments from these individuals because they're illogical, they're devoid of rational thought, they're based on belief and faith, and they display a sheer lack of intelligence. There is no intelligence. So I'm going to address a comment by one of my viewers called Odin Peterson. Okay, and I'm not going to publish his comments because they're actually entirely rot and have no place on my channel. So let me begin by addressing his comment in this video. I don't often do this, and I'm not going to ever do it again. This is the last time I will address this type of a comment. Okay, let me begin. So he says, let's take the statement 1 + 1 = 3. Well, let's say you're trying to show me that this statement is untrue. You see, this is the epitome of everything that is wrong with any given mainstream academic. It's a false statement from the offset, because 1 + 1 is the definition of 2. But how could Odin know? If he had ever understood what is the meaning of the number concept, he might have known this. The binary operator, this plus, denotes a measure. All the arithmetic operators denote measure, which is reducible in every case to the most primitive operator, which is the difference operator. Measure, that is qualitative measure, came before number. Hence his question is not only juvenile, but displays a complete lack of rational thinking. No, we don't make false statements because we try always to think logically. And we don't try to prove definitions wrong. A definition is either well-formed or not well-formed. Okay, and this here is an ill-formed definition because 1 + 1 is the definition of 2. Okay, what is the most basic set of statements you can get me to agree before I must agree that the statement is untrue? This is another one of Odin's statement. So what he fails to realize is that mathematics is not done by consensus, nor is there any debate about the certainty of logic. When I use the word logic, I'm not referring to the mainstream garbage of axioms or set theory. I suppose when one is indoctrinated by the rod of George Cantor, Kurt Gödel, and all those other morons, it's impossible to think clearly and rationally because in their universe, even unicorns are possible. Peterson, or Odin Peterson, continues. He says, this is a philosophical question posed by Lewis Carroll in his short story, What the Tortoise Said to Achilles, in which it comes to the conclusion that no matter how many axioms are agreed upon by the listener, they cannot be forced to accept the logical conclusion presented by the speaker. Wow. Lewis Carroll was not an intelligent man. Yes, I know a lot of you morons think he was, but he wasn't. And Odin seems to have accepted Carroll's conclusions as axioms. Isn't that ironic? Yes, of course it's ironic. Mathematics is not about axioms. There are no axioms or postulates in Greek mathematics. They are not required. Belief or faith has no place in rational thought. One can see that Odin has been strongly influenced by Carroll's religion and thought paradigms, all of which are seriously flawed. Then he says, mathematics is just a system or pattern of behavior. Wow, such that we agree to accept conclusions based on certain conditions. Mathematics is the science of number, nothing about systems or patterns of behavior. Conditions are not even relevant. So that statement there it's not even wrong, so to speak. Then he says, in your video you say that all right angles are equal or circles can be constructed in a plane or not derived from axioms. This is entirely true for the very simple reason that they are axioms. See, this is what stuns me. I cannot for the life of me understand how anyone can be so stupid. In the video where I talk about no axioms or postulates and parallel lines, I show that the derivation of these concepts can be done from scratch. But Odin Peterson doesn't get it. He reads selectively, filtering out anything that does not pass through the Lewis Carroll template of thought. Then he says, we don't say circles exist because X. We say, assuming the axioms of Euclidean geometry are true. So now Peterson waxes eloquent and imagines he is an authority in philosophy and mathematics. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect in full display. These particular conclusions can be drawn if one follows the rules of logic. No. Logic does not consist of rules. Logic consists of rational thinking that never leads to any contradictions or paradoxes, of which there are many in mainstream thinking. Then he says this does not mean that there are no axioms needed in all of mathematics, simply that these assumptions, axioms of beliefs, I put that in there because that's what it means, we make about the real world have not been substantiated mathematically. Well, this is circular thinking. It's like saying we need axioms because the axioms must be proven using mathematics, which is based on axioms. It's completely illogical and devoid of any rational thinking. And one doesn't even know where to begin on a statement like this. It's such garbage. It's totally wrong. It's wrong thinking from the offset. Then he says, it would seem to be reasonable to assume that straight lines can be produced indefinitely. You think? No. It can be proved that straight lines can be produced indefinitely, as I have shown in my videos. The word indefinite does not mean the same thing as infinite, and mainstream academics can't seem to tell the difference. In fact, different axioms lead to different conclusions if one follows the same logical rules. My jaw drops at that statement there. Wow, it's wrong in every respect. Different axioms? What do you mean? For crying out loud, if you're going to assume beliefs, they must at the very offset be consistent. No? How can you compare apples and oranges using the same rules? And there are no rules in logical thinking. There is so much wrong with this kind of thinking. It gives my superior intelligent mind a headache. If my brain could be compared to an electronic circuit, it would be blown by the illogic in that sentence. It is such rot that I don't know what to address first. Relevance, conclusions, rules. Where do I begin? This is how we ended up with non-Euclidean geometries. I'm actually out of breath right now. And I'm on a timer, so I cannot go past 12 minutes. Nope. Non-Euclidean geometry is sound if interpreted correctly. It does not require ill-formed concepts such as infinity. Then finally he says these obviously do not describe the everyday world. Who gives a crap about the everyday world or the physical reality that we're in? Do you give a crap? I don't. In a particular tacit way. Wow. So one doesn't even know what he's talking about there, which is why we do not use these axioms. They are not assumptions that can be agreed upon by the speaker and listener. Blah, 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 blah. We never agree on logic because logic, by definition, is based on sound reasoning. Reasoning that is valid, not according to rules or decrees made by authoritative figures, but according to rational thought which produces no contradictions. So, it really tires me out when somebody comments on my channel and actually doesn't know that he's an orangutan. And this poor guy here, Odin Peterson, is a total moron compared to my intelligence. He's the kind of guy who shouldn't even be talking about philosophy or mathematics. He has zero aptitude for either of those two things, and doesn't understand beliefs and faith have no place in rational thought. Well, I'm really out of breath right now. This is the New Calculus channel. My name is John Gabriel. Till next time, goodbye.